or a bit later.
Let's hope so.
All right, catch you in a bit. Now, as we've indicated, this is far from easy today, and if you thought the last stage of a stage race, like it is on the Champs-Élysées, I should say, is a bit of a procession, then think again with the Tour of Britain. Have a look at this. Top-level road racing returns to Surrey once again after the Olympic Games road race in July. After notching up over 1,000 kilometres in the previous week, there's more pain ahead on this leg, with 4 categorised climbs, including the Cat 1 Barhatch Lane, guaranteed to induce a grimace on riders' faces, before the run into Guildford and its cobbled, hilly high street finish. The weather is lovely and mild down here, perhaps not the glorious sunshine that it was yesterday, but I was down at the start at Reigate this morning and the crowds are enormous. This is cycling country, as the Olympics proved here in Surrey, and the people have come out to support the race. Now, earlier on today, they got underway at about 12:15, so they've been out on the road for a while, and a breakaway got away, and behind them, a bit of a peculiarity of stage racing, this one. If you've been watching the Tour de France over the last few years, you will have experienced this. The bunch held up at a level crossing, just as they were trying to apply a bit of pressure to the breakaway. They hit a level crossing, down went the gates, and the train came through. So if you'd been sitting on your seat there looking out of the window as you trundled into Waterloo, you would have got an unexpected glimpse of the world champion perhaps in his rainbow jersey. So that's not bad for the price of a travel card, is it? You have that thrown in as well. Okay, let's go over to live pictures now. And this is the composition of the 4-man who've got away. Pete Williams, he's been very aggressive all tour, hasn't he? And he, having won the first 2 intermediate sprints of the day for Node 4 Giordana, has now nailed the Yodel Sprints competition. Well done to him. Jack Bobridge, the Australian pursuiter for Orica Greenedge, he's in that break of 4-2. Good aggressive riding from him today. His second breakaway ride of the tour. Wesley Crader of the effervescent Vacances Soleil team, well, he's in the break today. And domestic and indeed Surrey representation from Simon Richardson of IG Sigma Sport. At 18 minutes and 2 seconds though, he is the best placed in the general classification, so no threats to the big boys there. Okay, that's brought you up to date, and when we come back from a short commercial break, we'll have the rest of the race live.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by Chain Reaction.
With an adaptive digital display, the world's first pedestrian airbag, and Scandinavian luxury design. It's who you want to be. The all-new Volvo V40. It's you.
Doing your weekly shop at Tesco.com is just like doing your weekly shop at Tesco, except you won't need to take your car, or your kids. You won't need to stand up. And you won't need to search the aisles, because all the things you previously bought in store are in your favourites when you enter your club card number, to help you save time and spend less. In fact, the hardest thing you'll need to do is open the door. Favourites at Tesco.com. Every little helps.
A massive great no-claims discount of 75%. That's what great driving could earn you with LV car insurance. But the savings don't stop there. Our multi-car offer means you and your partner could both save with your own NCDs and get extra multi-car discounts on top of that year after year. Talk multiple savings to our lovely people on 0800 723 723 or visit lv.com.
At Wix, we think bigger doesn't always mean better. We know what professional tradesmen want from a paint. So we created a white emulsion with outstanding coverage, whiteness and finish. In independent tests, over 2/3 of them preferred Wix Trade Vinyl Matte Brilliant White Emulsion to the equivalent product from the brand leader. A trade paint from Wix. It's got our name on it.
This September, make time for what really matters.
I love just meeting all my friends and having a gossip and a chat.
The world's biggest coffee morning to raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support is happening on the 28th of September this year.
Macmillan were fantastic when my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and they were there every step of the way.
I had to be strong for my daughters.
and I had to try and hold it together. But Macmillan were absolutely wonderful.
Coffee Mornings raised £10 million last year, enough to fund 200 Macmillan nurses and support 27,000 people affected by cancer and their families.
Like a bit of Tottenham cake?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
So go on, have a coffee morning this September the 28th. Order your free coffee morning kit now. Text Brownie to 88080 or go to our website. Together, we are Macmillan Cancer Support.
It must be something psychological. It may be something very physical that makes me feel the way I do whenever I'm in touch with you. Just let me get my hands on you, and I want somebody new. With me it's psychology.
Unleash the chaos. New links attract for him
And for her.
Got Tropicana in your favourites? You could win a holiday with your favourite people. Enter at tesco.com/favourites.
Whatever a city break means to you, with our huge range of flights and hotels, we could make it happen. Expedia. Battle protected.
ITV4 kicks off your sporting weekend early as Liverpool take on Young Boys in Switzerland. That's a fabulous goal. And Tottenham play host to Italian giants Lazio. A UEFA Europa League double bill, Thursday from 5:30, live on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Heading towards the end game for these four riders up front. Their advantage is being whittled away by the bunch behind. It was up around about 3 minutes. Now it's been pegged to 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Peter Williams up front all day for Node 4 Giordana, joined by Jack Bobridge of Orica Green Edge, Simon Richardson up there for IG Sigma Sport, and Wesley Crady, the young man from the Netherlands, with the Vakon Soleil squad. And the gap has yo-yoed a little bit. It was steady at 2 minutes for much of the stage, and then Mark Cavendish, puncturing a little while ago, allowed that advantage to move up again. Malcolm Elliott for Node 4 Giordana is encouraging Peter Williams, who of course is confirmed as the Yodel Sprints winner for the Tour of Britain in 2012, has mopped up top points at the sprint so far, and already had a very healthy advantage in that competition. Well, at least Node 4 Giordana did. He had a 7-point advantage over his teammate Marcin Bialoblocki, and it's Williams that takes the jersey home at the conclusion of the Tour of Britain. But now it's all about trying to stay out front for as long as possible.
Yeah, these four riders, the three of the guys with Peter Williams there, not interested whatsoever in trying to take those sprint bonuses off him. No reason whatsoever, allowing Peter Williams to make that jersey concrete.
Yeah, that's confirmation of it. Peter Williams opened up a huge advantage then over Marcin Bialoblocki by making it into the final break. And Node 4 Giordana mopping up top 3 positions, so objective achieved for the locally based squad.
Yeah, it was a win-win for that squad. I think with having all 3 guys up there, no issue whether it was Williams or one of his teammates. Either way, it was going to go to Node 4 Giordana, that jersey. Hard fought between themselves.
I was surprised that the break opened up out to 3 minutes there. That puncture for Mark Cavendish could well give these guys a little bit of relief for a little while longer.
It could do, and also we had that train crossing early on, which held the peloton up for around about 40 seconds. But they're back onto the job in hand now, and looks like Ian Bibby on the front, Enduro Racing, 2 Sky Riders, and those Sky Riders looking after this man. This is their interest today. This is Mark Cavendish's last race in that rainbow jersey he's worn so proudly all year since he won it in Copenhagen last year, and his defence of that title will start Sunday morning next week. But I think he is quite realistic about his intentions next week, and that is to work for one of his other team leaders, because the course certainly doesn't suit him. So today he would certainly like to go out on a high in that jersey and take this win here in Guildford Town Centre.
Paul Voss of Enduro Racing calls for his car. Presumably he's just collecting some bottles for the rest of the riders up the front, including of course the race leader Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, as Simon Richardson gets his instructions and gets the information. The news being, of course, that the gap between them is being whittled down with increasing rapidity. Coming to that bar hatch lane, Rob, and if Cavendish gets over that, then will he be favourite for stage honours?
I think he will be. It's certainly a finish that would suit him. We've got these riders here just getting information there. Simon Richardson from his mechanic in the back of the team car there. None of these riders on race radio, so all the information is being relayed to them via their own team cars or the whiteboards on the motorbike, and he will know that the gap is coming down with 52 kilometres to go. 2 minutes and 24 as Bobridge starts to move forward and press on.
How do you think they'll ride that hill? I mean, Sky presumably will soft pedal to Cavendish's pace. Do you think Enduro will take it up at that point, or will we see one of the other teams try and apply a bit of pressure on Cavendish?
Yeah, I don't think Enduro Racing, it's not really in their intentions and their best interest really to bring that break back. They are riding with them. There's obviously a little bit of an agreement, I think, between them, and so if Cavendish does fall back, which he no doubt will, he will, I wouldn't say soft pedal over the climb, but he'll certainly try and save his legs as best as possible, and I would imagine that one of the riders, one of his teammates, will drop back with him, and I think we will see this group going out again. The time will just go out again over the top of that, and then we do have 43 kilometres of fairly flat, slightly undulating rise, but nothing too difficult, and nothing to worry. Orica Greenedge, well, it would be in their interests if they want to go for the stage win. I think this is what most of the teams will be looking out for now. It's certainly Jonathan Tiernan-Locke's race to lose today.
It's a parade for him at this stage.
It is really.
Albeit a fast-paced one, and one that he needs to be ever vigilant.
It will. I mean, the other guys in the peloton certainly aren't going to ride him all the way to the finish and hand it to him, but there's going to be a big upset if he loses here today. So I think most of the teams will be looking for the stage win. So if Cavendish does go out of the back, then it would be certainly for this team here, Orica Greenedge, it would be in their interest to push on, and it's handy that they've got a rider up here now. Whether that was their intention from the word go to send Bobridge up the front to go clear, just in case it does split over this final climb, and that he has someone like Lee Howard able to move forward, so at least Howard would have at least one teammate, and what a teammate he would have in the form of Jack Bobridge.
That's a big engine up there.
It is, massive engine. Team Pursuit silver medalist from the Olympic Games, multi-world champion in that event, and world record holder in the individual pursuit, so you don't get much bigger engines than him.
Of course, the problem for all the sprinters and for the likes of Jack Bobridge is getting over those final hills, because final categorised climb coming up soon, but after that there are plenty of little leg breakers between then and the finish, not least of course the finish hill itself.
That's right. It's again on its own, it's nothing much to worry about, but it does come at the end of 8 extremely difficult days in the saddle, and the cobbles certainly add to that and magnify the difficulty of the finish. It does flatten off over the top, and it is quite narrow, so it is all going to come down to the lead out and to the help that each of the individual sprinters in these teams gets off of their teammates. Fortunately, it is staying dry as well. That's one of the things that would really throw something into the mix if it was wet.
Yeah,
but at the moment, we're all good.
That'll be a relief for Jonathan Tiernan-Locke. Where do we place Jonathan Tiernan-Locke in world cycling? I mean, he's neatly bookending his season with stage race success, and he won Tour Mediterranea at the beginning of the season, also won Tour de Haute Var, of course, and that just suddenly the whole cycling world was awake to this emerging talent, and now to win a very prestigious stage race in the shape of Tour of Britain. He certainly is an emerging force. He's well known now throughout the world.
Everybody will know that name, and massive respect, I think, handed out to him now by so many of the other teams and riders, and a few of the other teams have certainly wanted to engage him to ride in their jerseys over the next year or so, as we see it again. Rooster, known there as the mechanic, they're just barking orders there at Simon Richardson. I don't know what he's saying there. He certainly doesn't seem to be happy about something.
Yeah,
urging his rider.
Is he talking to Simon, or is he talking to the rest of the break? Does he want them all to contribute? Does he want them to push a bit harder? Because the gap between them is now down to 1 minute 35 seconds. We're within a kilometre of the start of this climb through the village of Cranley. 12th century village. Apparently a gargoyle within the nearby St Nicholas Church is said to have inspired local resident Lewis Carroll to create the cherished Cheshire Cat.
Well, there you go. I think we'll certainly be seeing some faces being pulled over this climb, gargoyle-like.
They might be grinning. One of a grimace, I think. And as we head to this hill, a bit of congestion at the back of the field.
Yeah, the back is certainly not where you want to be.
Michael Hepburn.
Yeah, Hepburn done so much work this week on the front, riding alongside Bob Bridge for their team leader. And Howard, he's had a great race really, and I was surprised that he was able to hold on as much as he did to that jersey and up the front there of the general classification.
So what's Jack Bobridge saying to Simon Richardson there? One senses that Richardson has pretty strong legs here. Is he saying just ride tempo over the top and please don't leave me behind?
Quite possibly, because Richardson, I would imagine, would be one of the stronger riders over the climb. Certainly one of our better climbers from the domestic squads. And whatever the information was that was being given to him by the mechanic, all three other riders will know what it is, because it certainly wasn't a sly, quick chat like we're seeing here by Malcolm Elliott to his rider there.
Malcolm Elliott, former points winner in the Vuelta de España, amongst an enormous Palmares over the years, recently retired, at least he thinks he's retired. Started the KOM.
Yep, the KOM here coming up now.
So now 900 metres with
20% is the steeper parts, so a tough climb, short but sharp.
Peter Williams rolling through. Jack Bobridge, that busy style of his, not really enjoying the gradient, and the gap between them now just hovering around about a minute. Team NetApp on the front, they've come to the front, so they believe they can do something. Is this for stage honours, or perhaps even for something overall? Well, overall it's pretty much out of it for them, so it's trying to set something up.
Well, I tell you, I think you'll find that NetApp, they're riding for their rider, Leopold Koenig, who's shown so strongly in the last couple of stages, and I can only imagine that it's him that they're trying to set up for the stage win. They do also have their rider, Huzarski, back in 6th place at 2 minutes and 1, so quite possibly looking to raise him up the general classification. And they certainly know that if they can put the pressure on here, the chances of getting rid of probably stage winner Mark Cavendish is quite certain. They really are starting to push on hard now, aren't they? Really are. Look, is it splitting behind?
Yeah, and what's this going to do to Mark Cavendish? You can tell he's going to be hurting, because these riders on the front absolutely piling it. And Team NetApp have really laid their stall out here in a big way. Jonathan Tiernan-Locke looks secure in position in around about 7th or 8th spot. But Leopold Koenig, 5th of course in stage 7 yesterday, and the winner of stage 6 to Caerphilly in that dramatic fashion, coming off the wheel of Jonathan Tiernan-Locke in the run to the line. And he obviously is in absolutely flying form, the man from the Czech Republic. Kozarski too, as you say, is sitting pretty in 6th position. Hard to see him getting to Tiernan-Locke with a 2-minute deficit, but he could move up overall. And they've taken the riders, taken the team vehicles out between the front group of 4 riders and the group behind, so It's a clear race between them and no impediments there. So these 4 riders up front will do well to get over the top of the climb without the group behind. And look, it's absolutely shattered to bits. There's just a tiny group of riders behind that are chasing, and the bunch at 6 and 7, one big long line. Riders really struggling to stay in contention. Johnny McAvoy has done such great work this week, and we should pay tribute. He spent so much of the week on the front along with Ian Bibby, and working hard for his teammate Jonathan Tiernan-Lock, as indeed as Paul Voss and Zach Dempster, who had to retire injured a few days ago. Up front, Team NetApp absolutely flying, but Jonathan Tiernan-Lock looks pretty comfortable there.
Yeah, NetApp really have put the pressure on the rest of the peloton here, but no pressure whatsoever for Tiernan-Lock. In fact, it looks like he's going on the attack himself. He's coming out of the wheels there, and there it is, game over. Those 4 riders that have been out front all day, that's it. That's the end of their day.
They had a minute to get at the bottom of the hill, you know, less than a kilometre ago. As Simon Richardson presses on, whatever Jack Bubbridge said to him, he's ignoring at this point. So great opportunity for these 2 riders to at least hang on, and perhaps indeed the other 2 as well, to hang on in whatever group establishes over the top. With 45 kilometres to go to the end of the race, it's a tough ask for this group to stay out front, but they've certainly absolutely blown the race apart up front.
It is, and we can see back on Soleil just coming across now, Sanchez in his wheel, and these guys here, it's every man for himself at the moment. We've got NetApp still just applying some pressure, trying to keep the speed high, but the main protagonists here, Tiernan-Lock, Caruso, Haas, they're all here, so that's the top 3 taken care of. Lee Howard seems to have been distant some.
And no look for Euskaltel. They seem to have been tailed off. Urtasun so strong in yesterday's stage and taking victory in yesterday's stage, but he may have left his legs in Dartmouth, because struggling to get across to this group from Team NetApp, well represented with 2 riders. And Jonathan Tiernan-Lock looking comfortable in 2nd position. I was playing a watching brief, but he's on his own for the moment, at least.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit of concern for Enduro.
Not really, no.
He's just so strong.
All he's got to do, he's just got to follow. He doesn't have to go on the offensive, he doesn't have to attack. All he needs to do is follow. As NetApp here, just putting one of his teammates out the back there. Bobridge is desperately trying to cling on and stay in contention here. He's been out there all day, and I can see just in the background, that looks like the Enduro rider Paul Voss, the German, coming across. And was that Josh Edmondson just going out of the shot there, also trying to go across? This is quite a big group here.
Well, if Voss makes it across, it's a great effort, because of course he was collecting bottles not too far from the bottom of the hill. So if he's managed to make his way through the group, it'll be a great effort. But for any of these Enduro racing riders, they've been on the front all week, and they'll be tired legs, but they know that they want to try and give him some support in that lead group. Team NetApp nicely represented with 2 riders, and Damiano Caruso also there, and Nathan Haas absolutely flying for Garmin.
Edmondson it is, by the looks of it, coming across. Or is it Edmondson?
Well, it's been great work from the Great Britain team. Got a late invite to the race, and have shown the jersey well. At least, as you say, from Josh Edmondson in the previous couple of days. Certainly justified their selection with the size of these crowds.
Massive crowds, aren't they? They know that they'll all be local here. They'll know exactly where they need to be on this circuit, and they know that this is a tight, narrow, tough spot, and a brilliant, fantastic vantage point to see the back end of this Tour of Britain.
Do you know what I love? Is the crowds are absolutely huge, but they're giving the riders enough space, so there's none of that danger that they're going to get knocked over by another rider, as this leading group takes a little breather across the top. And Jonathan Tiernan-Lock is not going to come to the front and start driving the pace. One wouldn't expect he will, at least. Back on Soleil, trying to get back into contention. Great Britain riders also involved and caught in between groups, but it's shattered into groups of like 3 and 4 riders on this real leg breaker of a climb.
Just
Ronan McLaughlin for the on Sean Kelly squad. We see Graham Briggs absolutely winching himself up this climb, and he could do with half a dozen more sprockets on that bike, I think.
He could, but the crowd certainly helping them. You see Bernard Eisel here on the back as well. Has he been dropped, or is he waiting for his man Cavendish? We haven't seen Cavendish. He was He was fairly well placed. Well, in fact, he was extremely well placed up on the peloton as Netap decided to put the pressure on everybody.
That's got to be a concern for Mark Cavendish, for Sky. If Bernie Eisel is behind Cavendish, well, he's an important leader. Man, if he's ahead of Cavendish, well, it's really difficult to see Cavendish getting back involved here.
Yeah, it's touch and go at the moment. Have to wait and see what happens as we see
Bernie
two of the
Sulzberger.
riders.
This is a fast descent now for these riders, fast wind, twisting and very technical descent for these riders. 5 riders up front, controlling the pace as the Rally GAC team try to get back into contention. And these 2 riders, Bernie Sulzberger and Graham Briggs, well, all they'll see is the back rider of the group ahead and desperately try to get back in contention, get back onto the wheel and get that all-important slipstream.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Gary saved £200 on his home insurance at Money's Supermarket, and now he feels epic. Save money and feel epic. You're so Money Supermarket, you don't even know it.
Look at that. Clear as a hermit's diary, crisp as a vicar's laundry.
Anything else at this time would just be wrong.
Like a Monday roast.
What cherries at Wimbledon?
A quiche at half-time.
Trainers at a dinner party.
Gordon's. Shall we get started?
It must be something psychological. It may be something very physical that makes me feel the way I do whenever I'm in touch with you. Just let me get my hands on you, and I want somebody new. With me it's psychological.
Unleash the chaos. New links attract for him
And for her.
Need a new look? Introducing the new Link styling range. Get the look that gets the girls. New Link styling, also available in shampoo.
Join the masters of style. Even trimming, a close shave, and accurate edging with the new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide Styler. New Fusion Pro Glide Styler and Clear Shave Gel from Gillette.
At Wix, we think bigger doesn't always mean better. We know what professional tradesmen want from a paint, so we created a white emulsion with outstanding coverage, whiteness and finish. In independent tests, over 2/3 of them preferred Wix Trade Vinyl Matte Brilliant White Emulsion to the equivalent product from the brand leader. A trade paint from Wix. It's got our name on it.
We've all got a special photo that makes us smile. With Barclays, you can now put it on your debit card for free, so it's a bit less banky, and a bit more, well, you. To get your card, all you have to do is upload your favourite picture online. Personalised debit cards, free from Barclays. Shape your banking to be more like you.
Need a number fast? Give me 500. Call 118 500 from BT.
The new Audi 2026 by Turbo. Technology that can make 2,000 decisions in a...
The giants of British sport return for another bone-crunching season of hard knocks and tough tackles. The stage is set. Be right there with us for every try. Aviva Premiership Rugby continues tonight at 8 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
So 11 riders up front, and it's split up. That's Liam Holohan of the Rally GAC squad, who's just moving over. Vakon Soleil also represented, as indeed are Euskaltel, and they're trying to break free of this group, including the race leader Jonathan Tiernan-Lock. It's all absolutely exploded on the final ascent of this race, the Cat 1 ascent of Barhatch Lane, and the gradient, super steep, certainly lived up to its reputation as the Team NetUp squad lit the blue touch paper, drove into the hill at unseemly haste, and left so many riders in their wake. And interestingly enough, one of them is attempting to come across rather than riding together. They've decided one of them clipping across, Jonathan Tiernan-Lock, and showing a cool head. We just saw a few moments ago the way he shook his head. He said that he had no interest in coming around and doing a turn. And now the group is starting to get a lot bigger. With 40 kilometres to go, I think we're going to have a significant group emerging very shortly.
Yep, Tiernan-Lock, he doesn't need to go on the offensive. He doesn't have to press on. These three riders, Liam Holohan, Jack Bobridge, Orica Greenedge, and Sanchez, just trying to go clear. At the moment, Sanchez, he's in 14th place at 5:53, so 38.8 kilometres to go. He can take 5:33 back on the Enduro Racing rider, and it's the first time I've ever seen any kind of performance like that. Absolutely impossible.
Great effort from Jack Bobridge to get involved here, because looked a little bit tired across the top of the last climb. Wasn't quite as sprightly as Simon Richardson, but he's on this descent absolutely powering clear, and they have a nice advantage over is that it? I think it could well be Leopold Koenig of Team NetUp in between, desperately trying to get back on terms. He has a little look behind and sees the group coming up behind. So 10 seconds now between these three riders and the group behind, and this is a group that's expanding in size.
Yep, here we can see Haas just there, and that's the rider that Tiernan-Lock really needs to look out for. Josh Edmondson here, again going forward. Yesterday, that's such a great ride.
That's a super performance by Josh Edmondson. He's been up the front in the end game for the last 3 days of this race, and clearly showing that he's a man for the future. And this group up front, well, there's two Great Britain riders in there. Group of 5 chasing a group of 3. And behind is the jersey a little bit further back. It's Jack Bobridge that seems most exercised. Liam Holohan doing great work for Rally GAC. Samuel Sanchez, the Olympic champion of 2008 and involved for so much of yesterday's action, clearly showing that he's recovering well ahead of the World Road Race Championships next 2 weeks.
Yeah, really coming into form. Sanchez yesterday had a great ride, rode superbly for his teammates. He took the victory. Pablo Urtazan. 2 GB riders. Jack Yates as well.
That's Jerome Coppell that's managed to get involved. Punctured earlier, got back on without any difficulty.
It's Edmondson. Here he is going across.
And there's no real pattern to the racing at the moment. It's absolutely superb action. It's just they're knocking spots off each other out there, and every little drag means that one rider's going clear, 2 riders. And these race leaders up front have a good opportunity here, because there's no real coordinated chase behind.
There is, and there's just riders are all on their own, and it is every man for himself at the moment. And I think we're going to see the That blue and yellow jersey coming round the corner any minute of Mark Demar. Yet again, he's up there.
Well, it's a superb stage designed for the final stage of this race, because I think it's the parkour that really is defining the race pattern such as it is. These riders up front are having to really fight for everything on every little drag, every little switchback, every little bit of technical descent or ascent, as Mark Demar goes to the front, lays down a few watts and makes his riders on his wheel really suffer.
Yep, and Edmondson here, he doesn't need to go through because he's got a rider just behind in the form of Yatesy, the other young British rider. He'll certainly want him to come across. Two riders are certainly better than one.
Mark Demar, Crater, who was involved in the break all day, also managed to make it in there. Sanchez, Bobridge and Holohan up front. Just catching the motorbike on the corner there just shows just how intense the chase is, and no race radio, so these riders are looking over their shoulder every 5 seconds.
Yeah, they don't know what's happening whatsoever behind them, unaware of the havoc that's been created. They know that the race is split up, but they certainly won't know which riders are where.
And of course it's winding, twisting roads, so every time they look over the shoulder they're not necessarily seeing these riders just 14 seconds behind. You think perhaps they might be advised just throttle back and wait for those small group behind, but well, they're just really not aware of what the situation is. They might as well just pile on. To be honest, I think it's great to see.
Yep, it would be good to get shots of the front of this peloton, or the remnants, what's left of this peloton. Just looking to see the jersey. Can we see that white jersey, that predominantly white jersey of Mark Cavendish? Has he managed to stay in this group? It looks like he has. That's him there in third place.
Well, that's an absolutely monster ride from Mark Cavendish, and the size of that peloton now, well, I think that indicates that it's going to be a big ask for these riders out front to try and stay out there. They will be aided in some way, some respects, by the fact that it is pretty lumpy profile towards the back end, as riders manage to catch a little bit of a breather, but the peloton all in one long line. 8 seconds between this group of three and the chasers just behind, and the peloton now chasing just 30 seconds behind, so 12 seconds indicated on our screen between these three riders up front, but I have a suspicion it might even be just that little bit less. 30 seconds then back to the yellow jersey group of Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, who's been very cool, calm and collected so far.
It is, and I think the one thing that will help Team Sky to bring these leaders back is if these two groups actually join together. It will give more riders, and they may play a little bit more cat and mouse. As we see, all the riders are up together now. Bernie Eisel and Jeremy Hunt done a fantastic job. They got themselves distance on that climb, but they've worked their way back up. And Cavendish, he can't ask for any more now. They can't do any more than what they've done, and that's have all of his 4 teammates with them.
Superb ride by Mark Cavendish to get back into contention there. Liam Holohan piles it on as Samuel Sanchez has a little think about whether he wants to drop back to that small group of riders behind. I think he's probably realised that behind them there's a significant gap, and perhaps he could do with some fresh legs up there.
Yeah, definitely. Liam Holohan really starting to power now. Great rider. He's a fairly decent climber, good sprinter as well. Gets up there in a lot of the criterium racing, so it could be an interesting finish, but it looks like if they get to the finish, Sanchez again, I would say, would be the man. He would be my #1 man, and he seems to be playing it quite cagey now. He's not too concerned at the moment of pushing on. He can see the group behind, but I think out of all of the riders there, it is Demar who would be the danger man for him for this finish.
Leopold Koenig has been sitting on the back of that group for the last few turns, and he's the man who kicked a lot of this off, really. As up front, Jack Bobridge goes for it again. Liam Holohan attempts to close. Samuel Sanchez has decided that there's no value in that. Maybe he's just not able to go with them. Jack Bobridge is in attacking form and giving us plenty of entertainment here, because Liam Holohan scrabbling to get on terms, but he's very much in no man's land now as the individual pursuit world record holder piles on the pressure up front.
Yeah, fantastic time trialist Bobridge. And that gap now is going out to 40 seconds. Here we can see Holohan just urging the riders to work, but with Sanchez sat on, it was only up to Bobridge then, and he's not going to work with them, he's not going to drag them to the finish, he wants to go alone, he wants to gap them and ride in on his own, and this is creating problems now for Sky.
Such an impressive attack from Jack Bobridge, because Liam Holohan just a little gesture and he gave him half a bike length and he just couldn't get it back. So wonderful attack from Jack Bobridge, just indicating how strong he is, and clearly very, very motivated to do something in this final stage of the Tour of Britain. Samuel Sanchez wearing the red numbers to denote that he was the winner of the most aggressive rider competition sponsored by Rule Area yesterday. He got the Wheel of Cheese. He'd like another one. I think he'd also like a stage win in Guildford, 30 odd kilometres from now, and Jack Bobridge it is though that tries to stay out front for a little while longer. The pain etched all over his face. He's not thinking about how far it is to the finish, he's just thinking about each and every pedal revolution as it happens.
30 kilometres, awful long way to go on your own, and we can see the speed of the peloton now surely being driven along still by Team Sky. All 5 riders up the front there, 4 teammates and Mark Cavendish, and this long single line denotes just how fast that peloton is travelling.
Bobridge has a handful of seconds advantage, and this group behind are working reasonably well. They're maintaining that gap to the peloton behind of over half a minute, and this it's an interesting scrap. It's a long way to go. Is there any chance that they can hang on?
Well, there's always a chance that they can do that, but for this rider here, it's now do or die. If he gets brought back, I can't see him recovering and helping any of his teammates out in a sprint finish, or even going for it himself on this finish, on this cobbled drag up into Guildford. This is it. This is his one time, this one chance to come away with a victory, with a stage win. He's got to do it, and he's got to do it alone.
Silver medalist in the team pursuit competition in London 2012. He would like to come out with a gold medal performance in the final stage of the Tour of Britain of 2012, and at the moment, well, it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. He's opening up the difference between himself and the group behind. There's enough of them riding there, but just this is an indication of what a talent he is, and I believe that he's likely to be a real classics contender in the one-day classics in years to come.
Most definitely. I think the problem that he's got at the moment is he's got that group, that small group dangling just in front of the peloton there, only 12 seconds ahead of this chasing peloton, and that will be the carrot that Team Sky need to help reel him in. But he's doing a superb job at the moment. He is holding that peloton, 1 rider against 4 now, and he's holding it at just over 32 seconds.
It's inspiring stuff, because tactically you would have said, well, the obvious thing is to just throttle back, work with those other riders, try and establish their advantage over the peloton, but he's feeling inspired, and he's just decided to strike for home. A wonderful time trial rider, so why not? Just 23 years of age, and surely a man for the classics. Riders in classic racing tend to mature a little bit later.
Yeah, but certainly not a flat run in. It's still undulating. With about 15 kilometres to go, there is another springboard which other riders may use. This race is not over yet by any means, as we see Christian House there in that green and white jersey, the Skoda King of the Mountains. Great race he's had up to now.
Yeah,
but a great race is being done here by Bobridge.
Should wish congratulations indeed to Christian House. He probably wouldn't be in any position to accept them at this point, really suffering in the wheels, but he's done a great job this week, and he is confirmed as the Skoda King of the Mountains. At least he will be when he makes it to Guildford, having scored, well, he didn't score any points today, but none of his rivals, or his only rival wasn't up front there, so he's the winner of the Skoda King of the Mountains competition for the Tour of Britain of 2012. Wurtason not making it in through the break today. Okay, this is the new break, which now has just under half a minute's advantage, and it's a lot less than that indeed, so the gap is coming down quickly, and that pressure from Team Sky has put paid to these riders' opportunity of staying out front.
Yeah, and there's tired legs in that group, and it doesn't look like everybody is riding. Not everybody is giving 100%. which will play into the hands of the peloton behind. And 6-7 seconds now the peloton has brought that lead by Bobridge down. It's coming down slowly but surely. There's a long way to go. It's an awfully long way for one rider to hold on. It's Liam Holohan, Rally GAC, puts the hammer down, and it's Sanchez who's gone. His legs are tired. Sanchez in the orange jersey. He's given up.
Sees the comfort of the peloton behind. Not much comfort really, cold comfort I think, and he'll probably just take a little break and try and get the lactic out of his legs. As Mark DeMar goes to the front, I think Liam Holohan has finally realised that that group are right behind him.
Bobridge, he's looking behind. That's signs that he's starting to fatigue. Yeah, he's really starting to suffer now. He's starting to cramp up. He's having to freewheel now and again and just stretch his legs out a little bit. That's not good signs whatsoever for him. It's not surprising. The week that he's had and the last few K is the remnants of that group sit up, and it's Bibby from Enduro Racing starting to lend a hand now for Sky. They really do need to start to help out, I think, Enduro Racing now, just to hold this together. They'll be concerned that a rider like Haas will use this springboard with 15k to go, because that's the only way now that I can see anybody taking this gold IG jersey off of the rider from Enduro Racing.
Bobridge out front with that 15-second advantage. He's managed to get those legs working again, and he'll try and stay out there as long as possible, but looking difficult at this point for him.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Ah, Steve Smith. Remember me? Of course you do. Right. Steve, because you renew your car insurance through comparethemarket.com, you have earned another Mirka toy. Let's fill it big, huh? Ah, the beautiful Maya! You're starting to build a very handsome collection. To collect exclusive Mirka toys, buy your car or home insurance or get credit card, so comparethemarket.com. Simple!
I am one of many specialized assassins called loopers. We eliminate people from the future. The only rule is never let your target escape, even if your target is you.
You're gonna kill this guy. Your own self.
Looper. They say a problem shared is a problem halved, and that's why Age UK are here, to help you make the most of later life. So if you need advice, get in touch. Age UK can help you stay independent in your own home, find the right care for you or a relative, or help you stay active and healthy. They may even be able to help you get more money if things are tight. For your free guide about the little things you can do to stay independent, give Age UK a call or visit their website. Sponge cake.
Optical Express could improve your vision and change your life in just a few minutes. We offer state-of-the-art laser eye surgery with prices from only £395 per eye. No wonder over 99% of patients would recommend Optical Express to family and friends. So take the first step now. Call 0800 023 2020 to arrange a free consultation or to get a free information pack. Visit opticalexpress.co.uk.
Optical Express.
That's the Postnet Cheerleaders! It's a fantastic new deal from Plusnet. Half-price broadband and UK calls from only $3.24 a month. Am I dreaming? Nope. Broadband and UK calls really are half-price from only $3.24 a month. For 12 months. Half-price broadband and UK calls from $3.24 a month. Call 0800 313 4444. And we're Wix recommended again.
Plusnet will do you proud. Have you thought of claiming compensation after an accident? If you've had an accident at work or a road traffic accident, an accident anywhere is your right to claim. You could be entitled to thousands of pounds in compensation. Talk to Harris Fowler's friendly and professional team on 0800 213 214. It's no win, no fee. Call 0800 213 214. You've got nothing to lose and perhaps a lot to gain. Harris Fowler, the personal injury solicitor.
Remember the bog offer from SafeStar UK? Well, it's back!
You know the one. You buy one, you get one free. I said you buy one, you get one free. Right now, for every single window door that you buy, I'll give you the one absolutely free.
They promise to beat any genuine like-for-like quotation with flexible payments to suit you.
Plus high security and energy-saving glass. It's worth shouting about. So, get your free quote today at safestar.co.uk. Or call 0800 106 107. I said 0800 106 107 now. You know you want to.
Be one with it, and it will be one with you. Be one with your tyres, and the road will be one with you. Angled Tyres, official partner of DTM.
Over the years, we've seen it all when it comes to sport.
Now, Clef, I've had enough. Stop it.
And along with the absurd, we've had utter madness, and of course, those moments of pure magic. And it's done it! So join us in a sporting trip down memory lane. World of Sport continues with a look back at the 80s, Monday at 9 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Jack Bobridge still out front, 16 seconds his advantage. It's looking difficult now for the Australian. Superb time trialist that he is, superb track rider. He's piling on the power as best he can, but now this wide open section means that the bunch have a clear view of him. And with over 22 kilometres left in this race, it's going to be a tough ask for Jack Bobridge to stay out front. Jonathan Tiernan looking very relaxed and comfortable in his IG Gold jersey. And, it looks as if he's going to be collecting another one, the final one of the race, when they get to Guildford very shortly. This group has now bunched up a little bit, so it looks as if I think they're controlling that gap to Bobridge up front.
Yeah, they're controlling. Team Sky, they just need to preserve a small amount of energy because it's not over yet. And in the next few kilometres, 5 or 6 kilometres or so, we're going to get a bit of a launch pad. Another tricky section in the road. A tough piece of riding will be required to get over the top and then on the run into the finish here, and a difficult run in. If Mark Cavendish is going to take the victory today, he obviously needs to stay up front, but he needs teammates with him for the finish because it is a tough incline. They have seen it. They've gone through after 33 kilometres of racing today. They have seen the finish here in Guildford.
The gap between Bobridge and the peloton expands ever so slightly, moving out to just over 20 seconds. So the peloton can see him, they know exactly what's involved in chasing him down, but Bobridge is making huge efforts, and he has a style on the bike that indicates just how much this means to him and just how much effort he's making. He's battling hard, scrapping hard. And Ornery Cuss pushing to the limit to try and fend off this peloton.
Yeah, desperately he's trying. He's in a position now where he has absolutely nothing to lose. He just has to keep doing what he's doing and hope he can hang on. Highly unlikely. He knows it's unlikely, but when you get into a position like this, no rider sits up. They never give in. All the way he will try, desperately trying to hold this bunch. At 24 seconds it is going out, but as I say, I think the peloton are just starting to regroup a little bit. They can see him. If these were twisty roads and he was out of sight and out of mind, I think they would still be pressing on, but they can see where he is. They know the time check. They know the difference.
There's confirmation of the Skoda King of the Mountains classification. Christian House with that comfortable win in the end ahead of Pablo Urtasun of the Euskaltel. Ernie Sussberger gets third place for Rally GAC after his efforts in the break the other day. And Question is, tactically, what happens now as they come to this this final little lump before we get to the finish?
Oh, the
Team
riders,
NetApp, have they shot their boat? They really went for it on the last King of the Hills.
they really did go for it, didn't they, on that first category ascent, with 43 kilometres to go.
Garmin
Will they
haven't
try again?
Yeah,
Have they got
Garmin-
anything left?
Garmin haven't been too prominent, apart of course from Nathan Haas, who obviously is feeling very fresh of legs, and he certainly would be one for the finish if he can get there, and if they can eliminate Cavendish. It's going to be tough for them to do that. Sky look very controlled and organised at the moment.
They do. They're tired, but they know that it's nearly over. Not too much racing left now, into just coming up to the last 20 kilometres of racing. But yeah, Haas, he followed that group that went over the top of the climb, and a lot of damage was done. Havoc ensued in the peloton as it split up, but it all came back together. And it's Bibby again on the front doing his work. He knows his job's nearly done.
It's been great. It's been great for Endura to have Sky there chasing for the stage win for Cavendish. Explain how they have different interests, but different goals, but a common interest on the road approaching the finish.
Yeah, I mean they're obviously going for different titles today. We've got Endura Racing going for the IG Gold jersey and that #1 spot in the race with their with their rider Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, and Team Sky going for the stage victory. And both teams want it to come back to a group finish, because they're both interests. Both have that massive interest of bringing it to a finish in one group, holding it together.
Jeremy Hunt on the front for Team Sky with that distinctive cast helmet with the no vent look. All the rage at the moment. Of course, teams looking for every possible aerodynamic advantage, and the vents seems to be something that produces a little bit of extra drive.
It is. There's been an awful lot of talk and a lot of speculation, I think, from a lot of people about marginal gains, and yeah, we're sick of hearing about this, but
do you think it really makes any difference?
A massive difference. We see it so often on the track, obviously, where it's timed and measured events, and people go, yeah, well, you know, on the road it doesn't count. I can assure you it's untapped territory on the road. There's an awful lot of gains to be made on the road, and people, it doesn't matter. Then they're sick of hearing it, I think, especially from the British team. And it obviously works on the track, but as I said, massive gains to be made on the road.
Yeah, Team Sky,
and there's a lot to be had from it.
It's brought a new level of professionalism to all aspects of, particularly to the technical aspects of racing.
Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Skoda, simply clever.
Need a number fast? Give me 500. Call 118 500 from BT.
Buy and sell today with Auto Trader. Everyone's world is different. There are consultations, experimentations, ruminations, business models, molecular models, life models, actions, reactions, fractions. Collaborations, formulations, variations. Note, the new way, with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 and S Pen.
Be one with it, and it will be one with you. Be one with your tyres, and the road will be one with you. Angle Tyres, official partner of DTM.
How much?
When money's short and setbacks like this happen, it's good to know QuickQuid can help. You can apply for a short-term loan 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just go to quickquid.co.uk, fill out an easy application, and you could get cash sent to your bank account within 10 minutes of approval. And simply pay it back on your next payday. Remember, with QuickQuid 10-minute money, you could have cash sent within 10 minutes of approval. Plus, save 25% with discount code QUICK87. QuickQuid. Quick loans to suit you.
Go compare! Go compare! Saving, yeah? Try saving this. Enjoy your more! Yes.
G'day, Dan. I'm at this fancy English barbecue. They're serving gold.
Oh, the Australian for chic.
But all the sangers have just got greenery in.
No sausage. No.
Should I refuse to eat it on the grounds that I'm Australian? And a man?
Obviously times are tough and they can't afford the beef, so eat the rabbit food and smile while you're doing it.
Hello, Bradley. You enjoying my little party? Too right. And your secret's safe with me. Spend all the sandwich money on gold, eh? You little ripper.
Foster's Gold, 4.8% premium lager.
I left school and I went to work on the checkout. Beep, beep, beep. I didn't start growing until I joined the army. They look at your potential, that little spark. They don't just train you up and make you a good soldier. They develop you as a person. The main skill I've gained is leadership, you know, my ability to step back, think about something for a second, and then have the confidence to say, right, this is what we're going to do.
We see the potential where others don't. The Army is recruiting. Search Army Jobs.
ITV4 kicks off your sporting weekend early. As Liverpool take on Young Boys in Switzerland.
That's a fabulous goal.
And Tottenham play host to Italian giants Lazio.
Finishing made easy.
A UEFA Europa League double bill, Thursday from 5:30, live on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Jack Bobridge has a little look behind. Bobridge looking over his shoulder as he steels himself for one last effort up this little drag. 13 seconds his advantage with just 8 miles remaining in this race, but it's going to be very, very difficult for him to last out front. And Bobridge really is... it's a vain attempt, it's futile, and yet it's beautiful. It's a wonderful effort from him out front. Wonderful attacking effort from Jack Bobridge, and he's getting great appreciation from the huge crowds out.
Yeah, looking over his shoulder, has signs that he's starting to struggle, he's starting to panic. But he's not giving up. Look, he's out the saddle, he's still got power, he's still got something left. He really is trying. He's not trying to give up. He's not giving up whatsoever.
Meanwhile, behind the peloton is, as it has been for much of the day, controlled by the Sky team. And riding tempo up the climb. Little look behind to see where Mark Cavendish is. Whether he's slipping back the order. I think I just got a sight of his jersey nestling comfortably in there in about 4th or 5th position. So looking good for Mark Cavendish. If he gets over this one, he'll be nicely set up for that final hill. Is it the kind of sprint that suits Mark Cavendish? Because it is quite a steep hill.
It is quite a ramp up, but let's not forget that World Championship title that he won last year wasn't a flat sprint. The only difference here is it's cobbled, which will make it harder. But for any of the riders, if this comes down to a bunch sprint on this finish, Mark Cavendish, you certainly wouldn't bet against him. He needs his riders, I think, with him, because it's not an easy finish, and it's quite narrow. So position is going to be crucial on here.
What's it like to sprint on cobbles?
It's horrible. It really is. It just makes it so much harder. But he has won stages in the Tour de France on this kind of finish. You know, he's
by no means just a flatland sprinter, and it will suit him probably as much as anybody else in this race. But out of all the riders who wants this race more than anybody, it's him.
Oh, here come the attacks. And is this Gediminas Bagdonisov on post Sean Kelly? He's going for it in a big way, and we're not surprised to see attacks on this hill. Sky have decided that that's not a rider they need to worry about. Jack Bobridge will very soon be joined at the front by Gediminas Bagdonis, wearing the champion of Lithuania jersey.
This is what we expected. Riders to go clear. Bagdonis, Team Sky, they won't panic. They'll just ride tempo. They'll ride even tempo because they know in this last 13 kilometres it's 4 against 1, as we see possibly a rally GAC rider trying to go clear, and no doubt Liam Holohan is that rider, and it is Liam Holohan yet again going.
Work from Liam Holohan. He's still got legs and he manages to get clear. Will he be able to certainly, I think, get to Jack Bobridge? He sweeps past him. Bobridge realises the game is up and his reign at the front is over. Can Bagdonis hang out there for Bagdonis, a rider who had a World Tour contract in the bag for 2012 with the GOX squad, but unfortunately that team folded over the winter, so he had to go back to Continental Racing. Plus Sean Kelly were happy enough to take him on again because he's built up a very, very strong reputation at that level. One of the strongest riders over the last couple of seasons, has won plenty of races. To take this victory though would be career-defining stuff for him.
It would be career-defining. I think it would be a miracle as well by the looks of it, to be honest. But it's a good effort, and it's an effort that we expected from somebody. Somebody had to have a go. As we see Pete Williams there struggling on the back, but that jersey is his to take home, so he'll be happy. Liam Holohan there in second place, just ahead of Team Sky. Nice little carrot for Team Sky there. Bernie Eisel or Jeremy Hunt by the looks of it on the front, doing the work. As Samuel Sanchez, I think, the Euskaltel rider, just starting to come up on the left-hand side of the road. Here is he trying to go clear over the top of this climb.
Oh, look at that. Sammy Sanchez has retained a bit of strength. He dropped back to the group and we thought he was really feeling it, but obviously he just didn't like the look of that group after the Barhatch Lane sprint. And he's a canny rider, there's no doubt about it. When it comes to the end game, he always keeps a cool head in the hottest of situations. Bagdonis is swept up, so now up front we have the man from Euskaltel.
Is it Sanchez?
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think it is, but he really has put the cat amongst the pigeons. We can see how fast the peloton are going, and we've got Enduro Racing on the front now trying to bring this rider back.
So these lone attackers, probably meat and drink, you would have to say, tactically for the Sky team, because nothing coordinated in terms of other riders.
Looks like it could be Urtazan.
Yeah, well, that would certainly make an awful lot of sense. Christian House and Peter Williams at the back of the group, two of the classification jerseys. The Odell Sprints competition and the Skoda King of the Mountains are working up and over to try and get back onto the tail of this bunch, which is working very hard as we come down to the final 10 kilometres of this race.
Yeah, Christian House just tucking in there on the back of the peloton. Euskaltel still going, trying to go clear, but being nullified by Team Sky. Enduro Racing also aiding in the chase.
That could well be Urtazan. His computer sat on his stem just like that yesterday. Christian House trundles back onto the back of the group. I think trundles, he's absolutely gasping to try and get back there. It's a 40-metre advantage for this man from Euskaltel up front. Has a little look behind, and I think he realises that it's not going to be his day, as Sky comfortably contain that.
Yeah, no problem here. 10.2 kilometres to go. It's pretty much flat now as we come off of this descent. Flat until we get the last few hundred metres as we turn up into the city centre here, the town centre of Guildford, and onto the cobbled climb. It does then ease off just over the top up towards the finish.
a little dragged to test the riders. This is definitely not an easy run-in. And Mark Cavendish, if he is going to take a stage success at the conclusion of the 2012 Tour of Britain, well, he certainly knows he's been in a bike race. This hasn't been billiard table smooth with just 3 or 4 little hills to contend with. There's been a hill every few kilometres.
Oh, a tight left-hander here off of the descent. Let's just look back, make sure everybody makes it round. Well, the first 30 or 40 guys have no problem. I tell you now, if Cavendish doesn't take this victory, he'll certainly be annoyed. The amount of work that his teammates have done for him. He loves the pressure, he thrives off the pressure of his teammates doing the work. He likes to deliver, and he likes to repay them for all the work that they've done.
Yes, he's a real team player, Mark Cavendish, and wherever he may be next year, he certainly has great affinity with his other teammates. Pablo Urtazan just about hanging on in front. The man who won yesterday's stage, can he make it 2 in a row? It's going to be a big ask for him.
By the way, he's looking over his shoulder now. I think he knows that it's over. His work has been done. Fantastic stage win yesterday. Helped out there by 4th place Samuel Sanchez, his teammate who rolled in behind them. Second in the King of the Mountains there to Christian House as we look back. Mark Cavendish, he's there in 6th place.
Urtazan has been a pro with the Euskaltel team since 2009. Before that, with the Liberty Seguros squad. And manages a stage win in Spanish stage races every year or so, but his victory in Britain yesterday, certainly a career highlight for him.
Yeah, I think so. Not a lot of results for him outside of Spain. But yesterday he was happy. Probably no more happier than his teammate Sanchez, though.
Yeah, it was a beautifully set up. I mean, we really thought it was going to be all about Samuel Sanchez.
Well, on paper, that finish would always go down to him, but
he wanted to set it up for his teammates and pay him for all the work that he's done for him all year, and indeed for the rest of the team.
Well, he's not giving up yet, is he? There's plenty left in him at the moment. Keeps looking over, just dangling out there as we see another rider trying to go clear over the top of this small drag. Is it another Anpost rider?
It could well be. Is it Ronan McLaughlin? We know Mark McNally stopped today. Unfortunately, he had knee injury. Could be one of the Belgian riders with Anpost. Yeah, Mark McNally from Liverpool back today. And Sky watching.
Yeah, this is one of those moves that really can't see this coming to much at all. But there's so many riders left in this peloton with absolutely nothing to lose. They get themselves out front. Who knows what could happen? More often than not, it will be brought back. But this is still bike racing, and it's not over until we cross the line.
And if you think that Sky are just watching him and just trundling along, just look at the way that peloton is in one long line. There's some very, very tired legs out there. They've been out there for over 1,300 kilometres in the last week, and there's some very, very tired bodies in there, and really just scrabbling to try and make it to the finish. How many riders have the motivation to actually scrap for stage honours? It really is an arduous sport, and this has been a very, very tough Tour of Britain.
It has. So many riders further down the back of the peloton, hoping and praying that they can stay upright and just get across the finish line to end this 2012 Tour of Britain. But there are other riders who have other things in mind, and here we see again riders trying to go off the front, but Team Sky, they won't panic. They're all up there. They've got it relatively in control. Enduro Racing also tapping out a rhythm with them.
It's Niels Witting of Anpost Sean Kelly, 21-year-old Belgian who made it into the break a few days ago.
6.2 kilometres to go, and it's all back together. Back on Soleil, trying to go clear. All they're doing here is just helping keep the pace high now, and it's just stopping people from wanting to attack. When the pace is set high, that's it. You've got to go so much quicker than the peloton, and at this this stage in the race, it's awfully difficult to do, as Bibby just gets a helping hand there. Christian Nice just gives him a little push, just get him back in the line, hold his position.
So the group is as one, and it looks increasingly likely that we're set up for a sprint finish. 5.5 kilometres to go. Does anyone else, have they got the legs to go with the ambition to try and make a way clear from this bunch?
Well, let's hope and pray that all these riders now get across the finish upright, and that we can see the best rider win.
Yeah, for Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, it's the next couple of kilometres that he'll be most focused on, really.
It is. If he punctures now, his teammates will be with him all the way. He's got 2 kilometres now, 2.2 kilometres, until he's out of the danger zone, out of trouble. Once the riders get inside the last 3k, mechanicals and crashes don't count, and he will be given the time of the winner. Always given the time of the group that you're with. So he's only got a couple, 2.5 minutes or so to wait, but he's not thinking of that. He just wants to think of crossing the line.
Jeremy Hunt, former double British Road Race champion, is charged with the job of leading the peloton and leading Sky's Mark Cavendish in particular through the last 5 kilometres and trying to keep the pace as fast as possible. And when they set it up, Ian Bibby on his wheel for Enduro Racing. Rest of the Sky team in line astern with Mark Cavendish. And Christian House has managed to get back on. Great work from the Canterbury-born Austin resident. He spends about half the year, I think, in Austin, Texas, doesn't he?
Normally our British winters, he clears off and stays,
the wet bit.
Gets in the sun. That's why he keeps his year-round tan. He's lost a couple of shades of tan this week, that's for sure.
He's the most successful rider from Austin, Texas. He is these days.
Quite possibly.
Ian Bibby on the front with Sky lining it up, and this is good news for Enduro. They've worked well with Sky today. There's no question of complicity, it's really that they just had common aims on the road today. It suits Enduro to have a partner in chasing and keeping the pace fast.
It does, especially in races like this where we only have a maximum of 6 riders per team, and Enduro and Sky both down to 5.
Cavendish had a little anxious look over his shoulder there. Perhaps he senses that if he's feeling comfortable, then other riders will be coming up from behind, and so it proves, as Garmin are trying to assemble their troops for one last push. Who will it be for? Is it going to be for Nathan Haas, who's looked so strong this week? Stefan Mark as well, of course, second into Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah, Armin Sharp, Orica Greenedge, looking after the interests of Lee Howard, of any of the riders who could give Mark Cavendish a concern on this finish. Lee Howard is certainly one of them. He's already taken 1 stage away from Cavendish, that stage into Knowsley. It's not over yet.
Dale Van Hoffen as well, of course, as the Garmin squad has managed to get up this week, so they've had plenty of riders able to get into the mix, coming up with the stage victory, getting ahead. Well, that's proving very difficult indeed.
Yeah, Garmin Sharp been fairly quiet today, so they will have fresher legs than everybody else. They will quite possibly have the better lead out of any of the teams here, but do they have the confidence in their rider? One team who will have confidence is Team Sky.
Orica Greenedge look to try and get organised as well. Presumably they'll be trying to set up Lee Howard, 4th place overall for him, but he slipped out of the general classification hunt yesterday, and now they have to focus on the possibility of stage wins. We have Ida Skropis as well, who's also been so strong this week and managed to get into contention for stage honours now within the last 2.5 kilometres. And it looks as if the other squads are happy enough to leave Sky on the front for as long as possible.
Yeah, Bernie Eisel here on the front now. I'm sure he's coming to the end of the amount of work that he can do by the look on his face. He really is trying now. Jeremy Hunt gritting his teeth in his wheel. And looks like we've got Christian Nice in 3rd, and then Luke Rowe, and then Mark Cavendish. But just alongside them we've got Garmin Sharp trying to set it up. There we go, Bernie Eisel, that's his job done for the race, that's it. All that's left for him to do now is get himself to the finish and showered and fueled.
So not the lead out that they might have hoped for, because Jeremy Hunt has gone back onto the front. Small teams in this race, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to control, and that makes it all the more exciting when it comes to the end game. This is such a difficult finish for these riders at the end of what's been a really, really hard week of racing, and they're all scrabbling to stay on wheels right throughout the group as they head down towards the finish. So many of them just concerned about getting to the finish up front. Riders with other ambitions.
Yep, 1.8 kilometres to go now. 2 Sky riders left there in front of their man Mark Cavendish. Garmin Sharp starting to move up. Will Cavendish let Luke Rowe's wheel go and allow a couple of other riders in front of him?
So much is made of Cavendish's lead-out train, but he's certainly a rider who's shown us over the last few years that he's capable of doing it on his own if need be, not least in the World Championships last year. It's a late attack from one of the Sojason riders as it caught the field napping. He's got a long way to go as United Healthcare attempt to control.
It is United Healthcare, their man boy Van Poppel in the chain reaction sprint jersey there in second place there behind his teammates. Mark Cavendish has got himself into a good position. He's got a few riders in front of him now. That's the way he likes it.
Boy Van Poppel in the chain reaction cycles points jersey. He'll be confirmed in that at the conclusion, I suspect, very shortly. Up front, Sky have managed to get back control of this peloton, so that's a brief flurry off the front for Sojason as they pile down the hill towards the final turn. A little bit of a technical one as the gap has opened up there between, but Cavendish doesn't want to go yet. He's waiting and waiting and waiting, and he's prepared to let someone else lead it out, because this is a really, really tough climb. The last 200 metres is going to feel like 300 metres for these riders as they go for the line. Boy Van Poppel there on the left-hand side. Cavendish looks so cool, calm and collected. He's already got several bike lengths advantage. Listen to the crowd roar. It's the world champion going for the line in Guildford at the end of the Tour of Britain of 2012. He's got several bike lengths advantage. No one's going to stop Mark Cavendish now. He gets his hands in the air. It's his third win, third stage victory for Mark Cavendish. A superb performance from the world champion. Superb performance from Sky. Superb performance too, indeed, from Enduro Racing's Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, who is confirmed as the winner of Tour of Britain of 2012. Great finish there from Mark Cavendish, and indeed from all the peloton. And riders coming over the line in dribs and drabs. Mark Demar at the back of the field has a little reach into his pocket for some recovery food. It's been a tough week for these riders. 8 stages, 1,347 kilometres. And well, they felt every one of those, but such an impressive finish from Mark Cavendish. He did the business, and now he feels it, but really it looks relatively straightforward for him. Great effort too from Jonathan Tiernan-Locke throughout this stage. Cool, calm and collected. That's a little flurry of excitement with 45 kilometres to go. Didn't seem to faze him at all, did it? And he is certainly a man for the future. Could well be exchanging places with Mark Cavendish at the Sky team next year. That's if it's confirmed that Jonathan Tiernan-Locke is going to Sky, and indeed if Mark Cavendish is likely to leave Sky. No confirmation of that, certainly. That's still very much all up in the air. Let's get a side of it again. Mark Cavendish got the beautiful lead out into the final turn, but didn't want to go too early. He was fully aware of just how long this hill was. Of course, the riders had an opportunity to survey it after the first loop, and Mark Cavendish just waited and waited and waited, but when the time came, had no problem just opening up a several bike length advantage and racing clear for his third stage success of this race. And nothing between. He'd have plenty of time to get his hands in the air. Victory in Dumfries. Victory in Blackpool. A second place to Lee Howard in the stage from Nottingham to Knowsley, stage 2. So it's been a great week for Mark Cavendish, and he's given the home crowd just what they wanted to see. Mark Cavendish is being feted by the crowd, as so too is Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, as he accepts the congratulations of his Endura team, and he'll be certainly congratulating his team too, because they've done great work all week to get him into contention, and he was the pre-race favourite, and he certainly justified that pre-race favouritism, because well, cometh the hour, cometh the man. And when it came to the stage to Caerphilly a couple of days ago, he was so comfortable in the end game, racing clear with Leopold Koenig, and while Koenig got the stage, Jonathan Tiernanlock set up this victory and controlled himself so well yesterday in stage 7. So he is announced as the Tour of Britain victor for 2012, and Mark Cavendish takes final stage honours. And there's confirmation. Mark Cavendish gets the stage win ahead of Boy Van Poppel. Fabio Sabatini of Liquigas gets up for 3rd place. Russell Downing gets another stage placing in 4th. Benedetti for Team NetApp well up. Janto Barker of UK Youth showing well again. Gillibert of the Sean Kelly team. Sulzberger, we think, still had enough energy for a top 10 finish. And Richard Lang rounding out the top 10.
Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
An itchy bear asked a sloth, "Here, where's the best scratching tree?" The sloth said, "Ugh," and pointed to another sloth. 23 sloths later, an itchy and angry bear asked the owls, who said, "It's over there, Squire." And the moral is, ask in the right place and you get a proper answer. With ING Direct, 94% of customers got what they needed on their call.
Booking tickets in advance on thetrainline.com could save you a heap of cash!
Be sensible. Save with thetrainline.com.
She's just a child. Only 19 months old. In agony. A terrified little girl. A girl who knows nothing but pain. It's caused by malnutrition. All Firdousi knows is that it's agony. All Firdousi wants is someone to help. Please, will you help? Show her that you care. Your support can bring food to a child like Firdousi. You can help right now by calling 0800 048 2805 and giving £2 a month. We're doing all we can to end the outrage of children living without food. But the reality is that a sick and hungry child needs you right now, simply to stay alive. Save the Children know what it takes to save Firdousi, but we can only save children because someone cares enough to pick up the phone and make a difference. Please, will you help save a child's life today? With as little as £2, you can save a life with high-energy food. You can provide the medicine to keep a child healthy. You can bring hope. No child should be born to suffer this way. Please show these children that you care by calling 0800 048 2805 or visit savethechildren.org.uk and give your £2 a month today.
You don't have to worry about download limits when you're with Sky Broadband. If you're an existing Sky TV customer, you can get 6 months free, totally unlimited broadband when you switch to Sky Broadband calls and line rental. With no usage caps. We won't slow you down, even at peak times. And you can enjoy free Wi-Fi from the cloud. Get totally unlimited broadband free for the first 6 months and only £7.50 a month after that, and our calls package. Go to sky.com/unlimitedBB or call 08442 410 570. Sky. Believe in better.
Come to Giacomo's attention. Some people don't know Giacomo is for blokes who like to look good. Whatever their size.
They don't know they've got 40 top brands in sizes medium to 5XL.
With many in sizes exclusive to Giacomo. Whether it's a casual jacket, the latest t-shirt, or suited and booted. I know Giacomo suits me. And me. And me. And him. With 10% off your first order, including my new collection.
Call 0800 980 1180
for the book or go to giacomo.co.uk. Giacomo. So now you know.
dramatic weekend at Knockhill. The dust has yet to settle, and the usual suspects are all on track, with Matt Neal still out in front.
What a manoeuvre!
The British Touring Car Championship live from Rockingham, next Sunday from 11 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Welcome back to the finish line in Guildford. Well, Rob Hales, some things are just worth waiting for, aren't they? I think that's what everybody here wanted to see, and certainly what Mark Cavendish wanted to do in those rainbow bands for the very last time.
His last race in that jersey, before he no doubt hands it over to whoever we don't know next week in Limburg. That's what he wanted. He wanted to do the jersey justice, and my word, he did that today. And his Team Sky riders with him, what a great job they did for him.
And it's very easy to say, well, listen, this isn't the Tour de France, this is the Tour of Britain, so it's a different scale of achievement. But on the other hand, he's had to endure 2 horrible days in the mountains of Wales and in the southwest, hasn't he, to get to this point?
He is, and the course today on paper, you would say, well, you know, is it going to come down to a finish? But that's what they wanted. They set out to do that. It looked touch and go at one point, but Jack Bobridge really did. He buried himself. He had nothing to lose once he got out there, and it really did start to get animated at the back end of the race. But Team Sky, they didn't panic. They had a little bit of help there from Enduro Racing. Obviously, they both had, you know, interest to bring it into a finish like that, and it was Team Sky there in Cavendish who profited massively.
Again, I mean, this isn't a 9-man team. It's actually only 4 domestiques working for Mark Cavendish here. He had to improvise, didn't he? It couldn't be the textbook lead-out that we know from the Grand Tours.
No, it wasn't. And here we can see the running in the last few hundred metres. And they knew that they wanted to get right up front for this last left-hand bend here. And it was Luke Rowe who took Cavendish through the finish, and then he was too far up. It was too far for him to go with just one rider, so he just let the gap go, and he allowed Sabatini there from Liquigas, Russell Downing from Enduro Racing, just to come in front of him, just so that he had more wheels to chase. And then he hit out here, he chased down Van Poppel there, and he went off the front. And from this shot, from the head-on shot, it looked extremely desperate. At this point, I'm trying to work out where the line was, and it was really hard to see where Van Poppel and Downing and the Liquigas rider were coming through. Sabatini there, but you know, hands up, and that was it. The helicopter shot obviously gave us a little bit of, it made it look easy for Cavendish, as he does when he gets it right.
I tell you what else he made. I tell you what else he made look easy there, Rob. Actually lifting your hands in the air when you're riding over cobbles as well to take the celebration. Not everyone's going to get that right.
No, it was a tough finish. The incline, not too severe, but magnified by those cobbles. But it was all going to be about timing, as we said this morning, and he timed it perfectly.
Okay, let's have a look at the order across the line then, how they finished, and just to confirm the standings there, Mark Cavendish from the fantastic Foy Van Poppel, who I think was always sprinting there for second place actually. I think that once Mark Cavendish had made his jump, they knew that those guys were squabbling for minor honours there. Sabatini, first time we've seen him really show, and Russell Downing in 4th place, a very good effort from him on this final stage. And Janto Barker, 6th place for him. He'll be extremely pleased with that. That's the first time we've seen his name threatening the leaderboard on this tour, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, Janto will be pleased there. Finished the tour off well there for Team UK Youth. Salzburger as well, Bernie Salzburger. All that we've mentioned it before. The British domestic squads really have performed out their skin. We just got shots there of young Delilah Grace.
There's Delilah with Peter. The headgear on, and Peter, and there's young Finbar as well, who's well, they're getting used to seeing Dad do this kind of thing, aren't they?
They are, aren't they? And you know, it's good sight to see that jersey. He really has enjoyed his time in wearing that jersey and racing, and I think it's probably the perfect ending for this jersey to be here in the Tour of Britain and do that lap of honour.
Here is the result, though, of the Tour of Britain. This is the provisional general classification. I'm sure it will be confirmed very shortly. The winner, though, and under no great threat today and thoroughly deserved, the British rider, the Devon boy, Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, He leads home Nathan Haas from Australia, Garmin Sharp in second place, and Damiano Caruso of Liquigas finishes in third. Matt Stevens has joined us here. Jonathan Tiernan looks ride today. We saw that climb at Bar Hatch where he attacked, and then when things came together he just rode tempo again and just kept it easy, didn't he?
He just basically showed him who's boss. He showed a maturity beyond his years today. I mean, he came into this race as favourite and he delivered, and that is impressive. I mean, against this kind of field, you know, so as I said to you a few days ago, this guy is the next pretty superstar, and he rode with panache and style and a lot of grace today. So yeah, a wonderful win for the British scene yet again.
There was a very revealing point actually, wasn't there, where he had one teammate in that little group over Bar Hatch, Powell Foss, who's done fantastic work for him by the way all week, and Foss hit the front and wanted to put the hammer down and split things even further, and you saw Tiernan go, what are you doing? Slow down, just bring it all back, calm, tranquilo.
He didn't need to push on, he didn't go on the offensive, he didn't need to. He was defending about 18 seconds lead over Haas, and he defended it superbly. But yeah, Paul Voss, their former Milram rider, really did want to get stuck in, didn't he? But no, he went up alongside him. Whoa, just call your jets. You know, it's a tough finish, we just need to contain it.
Okay, I think down behind the podium they've just come down and enjoyed their time celebrating with the Guildford crowd, and I think Phil Sheehan has grabbed a quick word with Mark Cavendish.
How's it feel? Very nice, thank you. And a word for the fans today, out in force today, out in force all week.
That's absolutely incredible. The amount of people on the road today was like the Olympic Games, you know, and then obviously all week we've had it everywhere, we've gone in the country, rain or shine. People have been out, but today there was just noise, you know. The amount of support me, I thought people forgotten from about me. I think everyone was all about sideburns and that now, you know, but yeah, it was really nice to see the support there. The amount of people here in Guildford is incredible. I just wanted to win. It's my last day in the rainbow jersey and I wanted to finish it off, you know, in style, and the team were incredible. They rode really hard all day, brakes were going everywhere, so they stayed with me and delivered me to the line. Really happy.
Congratulations, Mark, thank you.
Well, there you are, the man said it. Last day in the rainbow jersey, all about honouring the rainbow jersey. Matt, he knows his place in history, doesn't he? He's a student of the sport and he likes to honour the achievements of those who've gone before him.
Yeah, Mark knows a lot about the sport, the history, the culture, and he's grown up amongst it, and he's part of it now, you know. I overheard him at breakfast today saying he wanted to win. Was just having a sneaky cup of coffee. You know, we interviewed him earlier in the week and he wanted to go off with a bang, and I had to say, you couldn't make it up. Your home tour with record crowds, an Olympic year in the rainbow jersey, winning the final stage of the Tour of Britain. What a fantastic achievement for Mark.
There will have been people earlier on in the week, Rob, who might have scratched their heads a little and been a little disappointed that Bradley Wiggins perhaps didn't ride to the finish of this race. He had a stomach bug, he had to climb off, and Mark Cavendish, the mantle was basically thrown his way and he had to live with that pressure of representing the big superstars of British cycling.
It was, but he loves the pressure, he thrives off pressure, and the way that his teammates rode for him today, there was only one way that he was going to repay them and thank them for that work, and that's by doing what he does best, and that's crossing the line with his hands in the air.
Matt, did you doubt that he'd actually be able to do it on a parkour like this? Because it was not, well, I'm going to make up an adjective here, but it was not obviously cavable, was it?
It wasn't. It was extremely tough. I mean, Mick Bennett, the organiser, said he didn't think it was going to be finishing the bunk sprint. I had my doubts, but again, hearing Cav this morning, and you know, you forget, he's won Milan San Remo with lots of climbs near the finish. This guy is superbly talented, but I think the technical nature of this finish as well made it that there's no margin at all for error. In some bunch sprints and wide finishes you can readjust. Here, he had to get it right, and he nailed it under immense pressure.
Do you think, Rob, when he looks back at those replays, whenever he gets home tonight, he might be surprised by his margin of victory? Or no, things like that don't surprise him, do they?
Probably not with him, no. But I think it shows the strength that Team Sky have. I think if Mark Cavendish wasn't there and didn't want to win the stage, it wouldn't have come down to a bunch sprint. Nobody else would have had the inclination or the strength even to have held it together. And I think we would have seen those last few efforts by those riders going clear would probably have stuck. But no, they had confidence in their rider and he delivered.
Emphatic, stylish, full of panache. The sun has come out here and the crowd have got exactly what they came here to see. After the break we'll hear from John Tiernan and see him on the podium.
The Tour of
of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
I left school and I went to work on the checkout. Beep, beep, beep. I didn't start growing until I joined the army. They look at your potential, that little spark. They don't just train you up and make you a good soldier. They develop you as a person. The main skill I've gained is leadership, you know, my ability to step back, think about something for a second, and then have the confidence to say, right, this is what we're going to do.
We see the potential where others don't. The Army is recruiting. Search Army Jobs.
People have always found ingenious ways to protect what's important to them. The secure key from HSBC is designed to help protect you when you make transfers and payments online. And if you just want to check your balance, you can use our Fast Balance mobile app.
At Lexus, we didn't just create a premium compact car. We created one with supreme luxury, class-leading CO2 emissions, and fuel efficiency designed into every single part. The Lexus CT. We don't stop until we create amazing.
I'm focused on running my business all day, so when I need professional business cards, I go to Vistaprint. It's easy. I can order online and receive my business cards within days.
Choose from thousands of designs. Make it unique with customization options. New and improved card stock. 24/7 customer phone support. Now you can save over £20 at vistaprint.co.uk/TV with 500 business cards for just £5.99. Order now and get a metallic card holder free.
BT brings you BT Broadband and unlimited UK evening and weekend calls, all for just £13 a month, and now free for the first 6 months. That's our best ever deal. BT Broadband and calls, free for the first 6 months. BT Total Broadband. Call 0800 222 444 for our best ever deal.
Last year we put over 300,000 motorists back on the road and made sure they didn't lose out if it wasn't their fault. We protected their no-claim discount when their car was vandalised or hit by an uninsured driver. And right now we're offering all new customers 15% off car and van insurance. Take the direct line.
Love your home this autumn with Homebase. Right now there's 20% off selected tiling and flooring to help you create something really beautiful. Then add a splash of colour with 3 for 2 on all Dulux paint. And to celebrate 10 years of Nectar, there's triple points on all purchases this weekend. There's never been a better time to make your home feel special. Homebase. Make a house a home.
Forget your strong continental lagers, your Vorsprung Deutsch technique and your Boris Becker. We bring you Germany's best export, the Bundesliga. All the action, rivalry and atmosphere from one of Europe's most exciting leagues. The Bundesliga football highlights, Mondays at 10 on ITV4.
The Tour of Britain Live, sponsored by ChainReactionCycles.com.
Welcome back, and I can tell you no one's gone anywhere here in Guildford. I don't know if you can make it out, but behind us they're still standing 10 deep here, straining to look around the corner. Look, they're waving, bless them, to catch a glimpse of what's going on around the corner on the podium. because there is pure star quality there, and great representation from Great Britain as well. And one of the guys who's just made it onto the podium, and he's been a British success story all week, is the King of the Mountains winner now, Christian House, and he's been talking to Phil.
Christian, congratulations on the Stoda King of the Mountains jersey. What was it like going into the final day with the jersey still up for grabs between yourself and Pablo Urtasun?
Yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking last night when you're looking at the points and what was available, but you know, we had a plan to it, and you know, we stuck to that this morning, and once that group got away I could kind of relax a little bit, and you know, it all went to plan.
Congratulations, Christian. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, cheers.
Fantastic week really for Christian House, and this moment for him, Matt, in his career, probably the highlight, one of his highlights.
Yeah, along with being national champion, I think just because of where the Tour of Britain is now, you know, I think we could, you know, quite proudly call it the 4th Grand Tour by the way it's been carried out this week. I really do. But Christian, he'll remember this for a long, long time. Yeah.
He has been national champion, Rob, as indeed have you. How does this compare, do you think, when he looks back? And Matt?
Yeah.
Everyone except me, in fact. That's the point you're trying to make. How will this compare when he looks back?
Oh, certainly it will be right up there. It's not just the stature of the race, but the riders who he's beaten to that. So Urtasun, for one, you know, with the riders that we've got in this race, that's right up there. I just hope he's got a big car to take all those Yetis back home with.
He's got an awful lot of Yetis. Okay, let's talk now backstage to the man himself, the man who's won the 2012 Tour of Britain. He now is talking to Phil.
John, you're the first British winner of the Tour de France, Tour of Britain in its modern form. How does it feel?
Fantastic. Again, it hasn't really sunk in yet, but it was a tough day today actually, a lot tougher than we thought, so yeah, I'm more of a relief than anything at the moment.
You set your stall out this week with some really attacking riding. That was the theme again today on Barhatch Lane, that final climb. What was the plan there?
It wasn't a plan. We wanted to stay together for the sprint, you know, and I just had to follow a move that could have been dangerous, so it was just simply a case of following.
Your plans next? Can you announce where you're going?
Not yet, no, but I'll be doing the Worlds next week. And
good luck on that. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Well done, Phil, for trying there to find out about his future. He wasn't telling us anything there, except that he's going to be riding the Worlds, and well done for Jonathan Tiernan Locke in not revealing anything. What about this guy in the meantime, Boy Van Poppel? He's won the points competition. In fact, he's held that jersey virtually the whole way round, hasn't he, Rob?
Sure, we'll be having conversations with his father, former points jersey winner from the Tour de France. And he's won stages in every Grand Tour, his dad, so chip off the old block, as I think we've mentioned a couple of times this week, but what a rider he is, and what a race his team has had as well.
It's a big unit, isn't he, well, Matt, to finish in second place today?
Yes, indeed. I mean, yeah, it's certainly got some power and some skill, and I think I think this is the first major flourish that we've seen in his career, and I think you'll see him as one of the main protagonists in the classics and stuff next year, definitely.
Okay, now listen, let's go back to John Tiernan Locke. Where does his career go now, apart from, let's make a quantum leap here, and let's assume he's going to Sky. I don't think anybody really has any other realistic option open to him. We kind of know it's going to happen. What programme do you think will come his way in the coming season, Rob, should that happen?
Oh, well, he's already won it. Top level, and he's won here. Tour Med, Haute Var, the big season openers that he won as well. And with World Championships next week and the kind of form he's got, it's going to be really interesting to see what he can do there. It's learning ground. It's uncharted territory for him. But I'm not putting anything past him to do some kind of decent ride there, especially alongside the teammates that he's going to have there, and notably Chris Froome.
I mean, I think John Tiernan Locke will see in the early season when the classics in at the Ardennes, the Flèche Wallonne, Liège, Bastogne, Liège, and I think he's in the shape now and the stage of his career age-wise to try him out in a Grand Tour as well, definitely.
Do you think he'll make a Grand Tour team, Rob?
I most definitely. At his age, 27, he's mature in age, but he has had those 3 years out, so he's relatively fresh, and I think he does have quite a lot to gain, especially if he's being exposed to that level of racing every single time that he steps on the bike. So there's a lot more to see from him, I'm sure.
That is, of course, to be realistic and perhaps to temper the enthusiasm, the big unknown, isn't it? It may be one thing winning convincingly here, and as you've pointed out, early season against riders who are perhaps still in their early phase of training, but whether or not he can convert that onto the very, very toughest of races, frankly no one knows, and least of all him.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know fully what JT can do. I mean, because he hasn't been exposed to Grand Tours. I think if he doesn't ride the Tour de France, he'll ride the Vuelta or the Giro d'Italia, and then maybe the Tour de France in the future. But again, I think we've got a lot more to see from JT. He doesn't know what he's capable of, but what is certain is that, you know, I think the sky's the limit with this chap. The sky's the limit.
Absolutely. I mean, I've spoken to Dave Brailsford about him in the past, and David said, I'm so excited to see this guy ride because I just don't know what I've got. One note of caution might be his age. We always assume that he's a youngster. He's not. He's lost 3 years through illness. He's 27, and there's the danger that he might be trying to make up for lost time and rush his career through now. Is that a potential pitfall?
It is a potential pitfall, and something that a lot of pros will face. But if he does go to the team that we think he's going to go to, I'm sure they will look after him, and they will give him a programme and set it out, and he will be looked after better than most of the other professionals on the continent.
Well, it's been a fantastic win, Matt. When this week comes to an end, what's your memory that you're going to take away? What's the memory that'll abide with you of this week?
I think, you know, I think first and foremost it's the way that the race has been received by the public. You know, from county to county, you know, from Wales, Scotland, into England. It's been overwhelming, and today was the absolute icing on the cake. So I think for me, it's the crowds, you know, and secondly, the way the guys have raced this race.
Has it been a proper race in that regard, Rob?
It's been brilliant. I've absolutely loved it, and to be my first tour that I've worked on has been an absolute privilege to watch all the riders go round and take the race on like they have. And like Matt says there, the crowds have been absolutely incredible, and the weather most days has been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
No, it has been a fantastic journey, and indeed, well, thank you, Matt, and thank you, Rob. You've been thoroughly entertaining and very informative the whole way around, so thank you both, gentlemen. It has been an extraordinary journey, has been the whole summer of 2012. Quite a ride, I think you'll agree, and what it's proved is that sky is not always the limit. Thank you.
And that looks like Luke Rowe to me, throwing his arms in the air. Yes, Luke Rowe wins stage 1. As they come up to the line, here comes Mark Cavendish. Oh, he's beaten into second place. This is Cavendish at his best. Up to the line, the victory salute. Mark Cavendish takes the stage here. But now look at this then, head to head as they look for the line. But on the line it is Cavendish again. Mark DeMar gives the victory salute. The rider from United Healthcare wins stage 5 of the Tour of Britain. Connie, that's going to come up here to take the stage victory.
Bertazan gets his hands in the air by the narrowest of margins.